Battlefield 6 is finally here, and one of the features that so distinguishes this shooter from other games is its class system. There are 4 classes: that's Assault, Recon, Support, and Engineer. If you're one of the many people that's coming over from Call of Duty or Warzone, like so many of us are, it can be kind of overwhelming to understand exactly what the classes do. This is a full guide to every single class so that you can understand what they're good at, which one fits your play style the most. Whether you're an import brand new to Battlefield games or you've been playing Battlefield since the beginning, this guide will help you get going. To properly break down the classes, you need to understand a few things first. Each class has what they call a class signature set. This is a unique set of abilities and a gadget and a weapon proficiency that every engineer will have regardless of what else you pick within that operator. Let's start off with the engineer. The class signature set is the repair tool. It's a blowtorch that, yes, you guessed it, repairs tanks. Now that doesn't sound that great at first if you're coming from Call of Duty, but this will actually allow you to keep tanks alive in the middle of a massive battle. Battlefield 6 has gone more so to open class, meaning you can pick any primary weapon with any class instead of being locked to a specific type like LMGs, SMGs, etc. But if you're an engineer and you choose to pick the SMG, you'll actually get bonus hip fire spread where it brings it down. So they're still encouraging you to use the SMG like you're supposed to, but you can use other ones. The last signature trait is the passive, and that is the mechanized infantry, where you take less explosive damage when near friendly vehicles, and you prevent them from being occupied if all of your teammates get out of that vehicle. By repairing the vehicle, this will keep both effects active. Outside of the signature traits, every class also gets 2 training pass. For the engineer, it's the anti-armor. This one allows thermal overdrive repair tool fixes with 50% efficiency for 10 seconds when you activate it and restores over time. Devastating impact. Damaging enemy vehicles reduces their repair effectiveness for 50% for 10 seconds. Very strong. Launcher proficiency, 50% faster reload times for launchers, and you get 2 extra rockets from the start. So this one's all about repairing and attacking other armored vehicles, which is the primary purpose generally of engineers. Combat Engineer is the second training path. You still get thermal overdrive, but now your vehicle regeneration. Occupy a vehicle to start regenerating its health. Will activate if above its critical damage state. Overheat control heat buildup on gadgets and vehicle weapons is 50% slower. And gadget fortification, repairing a friendly gadget permanently increases its maximum health. This one's very useful if you're a driver in a squad of engineers, which I highly recommend trying. All of you going engineer. It's freaking fantastic when you learn how to do it together. But it would also be great if you're playing with randoms and they're not necessarily healing your vehicle. You can kind of heal it yourself. The Recon class probably got the biggest nerf overall from the beta, and I'll explain why, but in that nerf, I think it also boosted the Assault from being the worst to now one of the best, but I'll get to that in just a minute. So the class signature set for Recon, motion sensor. This is basically a little mini UAV that detects enemies around you unless they are moving in crouch or prone. And it emits a sound audible to hostiles so they can hear it. Signature weapon is, of course, the sniper rifle. Improved marksmanship skills, including reduced weapon sway, quicker rechambering between shots, and better breath control for steadier aim. It's okay. It's not great. And then aim spot is the signature trait. Looking at hostiles while aiming down sight will spot them, marking their position in world on the mini-map for all team members, everybody. Time required to spot is dependent on factors such as movement and zoom level. Recon has 2 training paths, that is the Sniper and the Spec Ops. Sniper, your class active ability is a UAV overwatch, calling a UAV to shadow you in a 100-meter radius, which is quite big, and spot enemy combatants for 60 seconds. Extremely helpful. Confirm kill. Enemy soldiers you kill with a headshot from a sniper rifle cannot be revived by their teammates. One and done. Target acquired inflicting damage on enemies spots them, marking their position in world and on the minimap. And then enhanced perception, improved auto spotting range with 33% increased distance and 10% wider angle of detection from weapon crosshair. Spotting is quicker and lasts 3 seconds longer. So this one's really all about that range sniping and spotting enemies. Spec Ops, you still have the UAV overwatch, but now you get low profile. Going prone clears you in combat state 1.5 seconds faster and reduces your spotted status duration by 33%. And gadget awareness is where you can spot enemy equipment nearby and on the mini-map, and the ability is inactive while you're sprinting. Then stealth tactics reduce sounds you make when crouched or prone, also applies when performing a takedown or execution if you're familiar with Call of Duty. This one doesn't seem great overall, I'm going to be honest. Unless there's some things I really don't understand, I would absolutely pick the Sniper for the training path if you're going to run Recon. The big disadvantage with Sniper, and we'll talk more about all of the gadgets for all the classes because those are often unique to each individual class, is they lost the respawn beacon, which is where you could set it down, your teammates could now spawn there, and you could spawn there. So you could find a nice little crevice or nice little spot, or we would put it just outside of a capture point we're trying to get, and then our teammates could just keep respawning when they die instead of having to run for 20, 30 seconds from whatever point or vehicle they had to spawn in from. That no longer is with the Recon, which honestly makes Recon significantly less good. But we'll talk about the gadgets. There's still some potential uses the Recon could do. This leads us to Assault, by far the most buffed class from the beta. They were kind of in a weird, useless spot, to be honest. I don't think they are anymore. I think they're quite good. So class signature set gadget is the Adrenaline Injector. Temporarily boosts sprint speed while reducing explosive incendiary damage. Also provides brief resistance to and clears the effects of flash and stun grenades. Very close quarters use. Signature weapon, assault rifle proficiency, faster draw times with assault rifle, fire sooner when exiting a sprint. And signature trait, mission focused, faster progress with objectives including arming, disarming, MCOM explosives, quicker cooldown for you in your combat state, allowing squad mates to deploy on you sooner. Assault is all about that front line, that aggression, but because they've tweaked some of these things from the beta, they're also extremely beneficial to your squad directly. The training paths are Breacher and Frontliner. Breacher, rally squad. You and nearby squad members gain a temporary adrenaline effect. That effects on you can be extended with kills. Unrelenting reload, 15% faster reload for the incendiary round shotgun and the grenade and breaching projectile launchers. And the gadgets, he has a ton of different types of launchers, so that'll just help all those to move quicker. Agile shooter, reduced movement speed penalty when firing while moving, and you get one extra grenade. For Frontliner, you still have Rally Squad, but now you have Quick Recovery. Passive health regeneration triggers 50% faster and provides a 50% improvement on healing. Quick Recovery is one of the most powerful passives amongst all the classes. Soft landing, reduced impact from falling or jumping from heights. And Adrenaline Rush, squad mates that deploy on you gain the effects of Adrenaline Injector for 2 seconds. Effects also apply to you or your squad mates when deploying on your redeploy beacon. So it's keeping everybody moving, capturing those objectives. And the big thing with Assault is you can actually have 2 primaries. So you can have an AR and a Shoddy, a Sniper and a Shoddy. They're the only class that can carry 2 primaries at the same time. Before we cover our last class support, remember it's also about the unique gadgets that each class gets, and we'll be covering all those just after support. Class signature supply bag. Once dropped, the bag resupplies all nearby infantry with ammo for gadgets and weapons and regenerates health more efficiently even when under fire. LMG proficiency, faster transition to aim down sights, and no sprint speed when carrying LMGs. This gets really strong when you start putting on the smaller clips onto an LMG. You basically get the speed of an AR with the damage output of an LMG. And signature traits, squad supplies. Squad members can interact with you to gain health and ammunition. The first training path is Combat Medic. Of course, you can restock allies like you guys are familiar with. You resupply and heal nearby friendly forces for 10 seconds, and reviving teammates only takes 1.7 seconds. There's a circle that goes in it, and you can actually double stack those. Hopefully they don't patch that soon because that was super fun to do with smokes. Defense focus. Defensive gadgets have a 25% resupply rate. The GPDIS, which is the trophy system, intercepts 2 more projectiles. MP APS tracking durations extended by 5 seconds, and deployable cover takes 10% less damage. Revive recovery. Reviving down teammates triggers passive health regeneration. Incoming damage temporarily halts the effect for 1 second. And then urgent aid, drag down soldiers 20% faster and revive them 2.5 seconds quicker. So you can revive them extremely fast. But most of the time you'll be using the paddles if you're a good medic, like this. Then fire support. You still have restock allies. Steady aim, improved weapons control when shooting from mounted positions. So you can already mount to get better recoil control. Steady aim makes that even better. Explosive resistant, 25% reduction of incoming explosive splash damage while prone or shooting from mounted positions. And logistics expert, faster ammo resupply when using the supply bag. Moving on to gadgets for Assault, I'm only going to cover a couple. The first is the assault ladder. This ladder actually can allow you to climb straight up to second stories and even higher, depending on the building, and not have to go through the normal spots that you can. The cool thing about this, if you blow up a building, you can then set the assault ladder on the outside and then jump straight up to a higher floor without having to run the stairs or whatever path you have laid out before you. As far as all the launchers, they're decent. The thermobaric grenade was really strong in basically paralyzing people for 2 seconds, or 2.5. They've already nerfed that down to 1 second, so most of the launchers aren't that great. The fire shotgun I haven't got to use a lot, but the biggest change and biggest buff to any class came to Assault via the deploy beacon. This moved from Recon, where you could redeploy your whole spawn in a specific area, to Assault. So this greatly nerfed Recon and greatly boosted Assault. So not only do you take objectives faster, you can run an assault rifle and a shotgun at the same time. You can throw grenades. You can heal up to 50% faster. All these different benefits. Now you have a redeploy beacon. So Assault is going to become the go-to if you're trying to actually capture points outside of a vehicle. I'll be playing Assault a lot in Battlefield 6. Recon are where gadgets get very interesting. You get a laser designator where you can mark targets, and this allows everyone to now lock on much faster with the rockets and more accurately. You can set this device to function autonomously or remotely access it to point in a specific direction or at a specific vehicle if you're trying to take it out. Then you have the Recon drone equipped with thermal vision for enhanced spotting, automatically spot hostiles. This is huge, especially when you're sniping. You can go and spot a bunch of guys and suddenly you'll just see them all die. Also, if your teammates are running vehicles, helicopters, jets, etc., you spot a bunch of them with the Recon drone, you're going to make their job very, very easy. And you know I'm going to be putting C4s on these just to troll. The Tracer Dart is a gun you shoot vehicles with, and again, helps you to lock on quicker for long range and air defenses. The Claymore is back. You all know what that is. Sniper decoys are here. I'm kind of excited to use these and see what that actually looks like. The C4s are really, really fun to use, both for infantry, but also for vehicles. Getting tank kills with the C4 is extremely satisfying. And it does give you a little bit of hope when you get pushed heavy by vehicles or by a lot of players to be able to actually defend yourself when you have a sniper rifle. If you're running support, you pretty much have to run the defibrillator to get people up instantly from revives. So fun, so useful. You then have the grenade intercept system. This is basically just the trophy system from Call of Duty that will catch projectiles such as grenades, flashbangs, etc. And then you have the missile intercept system, which will stop tank rounds and larger ammunition from hitting the location, keeping you safe. The last I'm covering for support is the portable mortar. Really, really fun to use. We'll see how quick it takes to get good at it. But this could be very helpful when you're trying to take an elevated point. You could just sit down below, start launching mortars up, maybe get 1 or 2 kills, get people panicking, as the rest of your team then covers the point and takes the high ground. Moving on to the Engineer, you have the Air Defense Launcher. This is a surface-to-air lock-on rocket launcher that works great, but really is designed to work most effectively with the laser designator or the tracer dart that we just covered from the Recon. Auto-guided launcher, anti-tank missile system. Aim at the target and fire. The missile will then guide itself to the enemy vehicle and execute a top-down attack, which is many of the weak points for vehicles. This one is very similar to the Javelin in Warzone, if you remember that one. The EOD bot. I'm excited to have these back. Its primary job is to search out mines and explosives, and it can even release cluster munitions to clear an area of enemy gadgets, etc. I can't wait to get in a squad with all EODs and try to get some kills. It's gonna be so fun. The acoustic sensor AV mine is unique in that when a vehicle triggers it, it will pop up in the air and then shoot straight back down onto the vehicle. And the last one I'm going to cover is the Vehicle Supply Crate, a pallet that resupplies ammunition and speeds up equipment cooldowns for nearby friendly vehicles. If you're getting into heavy fights, your ammunition will go quick. This will allow you to quickly and consistently keep those things restocked. So now you know what each class does, what each class can do. Let me know down below which class are you going with, which training path are you choosing, and what equipment do you plan on using the most in Battlefield 6? Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that follow button if you're on TikTok, and as always, I will see you on the battlefield.